Hi guys, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at one of my ficus trees. I think this is one that I rescued from a big box store 3 or 4 years ago. I think I found a picture. I'll put it up here in the corner just so you can see what it looked like. And this is shortly after I bought it. I repotted it. Um, but I mean, it was really cheap. I think it was at the time, kind of hard to remember, but I think it was only like $10 or $11. They had it on the clearance rack. As you can see from the picture, it had a decent trunk on it. It was kind of dominant off to the right side a little bit, so I reshaped it, grew some of these branches out over here, and over 3 or 4 years, it didn't grow a lot because I kept it in smaller pots. But I really like the way this tree. It's got a thick trunk. I still need to decide what to do with this big root over here. I may cut that off on a future repot, in the summertime when everything's growing well, or I may just leave it and just kind of hopefully this thickens up over here and just kind of let it spread out. I'm not sure. Once I get that undone, might look at it today, but I probably won't do any root work. But I like the way this trunk comes up. It's got a little bit of movement, and it tapers really nice. It's thick down here, comes up and gets thinner and thinner, and each branch, as it goes up, they get thinner as they go out, and then each branch actually tapers down nice too. So it's got a decent shape. I keep it pruned so it's got a kind of a triangle. I want to round it off a little more eventually, but it's more of a triangle now. But it's kind of a slow process because, like I said, I've got it in smaller pots, so they tend to not grow as fast. But the reason I've got it off the shelf today, because I notice when I'm watering it, along with my other trees that are about this size container, they drain out the bottom really fast. And this one, not so much. So I need to kind of see what's going on, see if we've got some blocked drain holes, if it's root bound or what's going on. But it's in the middle of winter here in Texas. I've got these growing inside under grow lights, so it's not optimal repotting time. So I'm not going to do a full repot. It's going to be more like a slip pot. I just want to pull it out, take a look at it to see if there's anything going on, if I need to clean some of the soil out, put some fresh soil in, might even need to drop it into a larger pot just for the winter, the rest of the winter. And then once spring and summer gets here, I can do a full repot with some root work and root pruning and that kind of thing. But in the wintertime, I usually don't do a lot of root work just because they aren't growing as vigorous. So let's take a look at the bottom. Okay, I don't think the tree's wired in. I think those wires are just for the drainage screen. So let's see if it'll come out of the pot. Yeah, it looks like it's going to come out of the pot fine. Let's see what we've got going on here. Yeah, I think we found the problem. It's a little root bound, and I think some of these roots were blocking the drainage holes. So we'll get all this cleaned out. Just check these holes here. Looks like some of the soil has kind of broken down too and clogged up some of the drain holes. Okay, so we've got the drain holes cleaned up there. So let's get in here and see what we've got going on. Yeah, it's pretty full of roots. Let's maybe just use the chopstick. Just move some of this soil away. Trying not to disturb the roots too much, but yeah, I can tell it's just really thick in there, so the water's not getting down into the roots and getting out of the drain holes. This is kind of what I suspected, and this kind of what happens when you're watering your trees and you don't see the water drain out of the bottom really fast. It might be time to take a look at it. And that's what's going on here. Like I said, I didn't want to do a lot of root work, but I'm going to have to trim some of these up. Ficuses are pretty resilient, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it. I don't want to get it in too big of a pot. I'm not sure I have the exact size that I'm wanting to use. I could just trim it up and drop it back into this same pot. Once I get this cleaned out a little bit. Just don't want to disturb it too much. Yeah, this is pretty packed in here. But I think just this little bit of work will help. Got a really thick root here. It's probably coming off the end of this one. Yeah, it is. Let's see, I really don't want to cut a lot of that off. I might need to check my supply of pots and see, because I just think putting it back in this one might be a little bit, I don't know. I was thinking it might be a little bit too restrictive again, but I think there's a lot of fine roots up here, so I think we might be okay to cut some of these long ones off. Get some fresh soil in there and let them breathe a little bit. I'm just trying to break up some of this. This is still pretty wet. I watered it a couple days ago, so that's, the trees usually dry out a lot faster than that with my soil, but this one has got a ton of roots. So yeah, I think what we'll do is just go ahead and trim some of these long ones up. And I've mentioned before, for my root work, I just use these nice sturdy pair of utility kitchen scissors, or whatever you want to call them, because I don't like cutting through soil and hard stuff with my good scissors. So for the root work, I usually use these. They kind of hold their blade, hold the sharpness pretty well, and they're not as expensive to replace as the bonsai scissors. Okay. think, let's see if I can break some of this up down in here. I just think that's just really packed in there. Let me open some of that up. Like I said, in the summertime, I'll do a major repot and really get in here, but I'm hoping this is just enough to let some of this dry out a little bit, get us through till spring and summer. Let me pour some of this soil off. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll probably be okay with that. Get a little bit more drainage in there. So I'll go ahead and put some soil in. I'm going to use my Akadama and black lava mix to give it really good drainage. Over here. And when I pot it, I kind of mound it. I don't want to lift it up too much, but it's kind of mounded inside there, so it'll nestle up in the tree. And I just kind of push down and wiggle it back and forth a little bit. That's off to the left a bit. Make sure we've got the pretty straight there. Yeah, I think that'll work. So let's go ahead and fill the rest up with soil. Use the chopstick to nestle this down. Just kind of stick the chopstick in and wiggle it back and forth, and you'll see the soil start to fall down into the openings. Yeah, and I'll be sure to keep you guys updated on this. I think this is the first time I've shown this tree on my channel. Not a whole lot of work done today, but I just did want to, you read the books and, the rules, in quotes, say that you're not supposed to repot in the wintertime, but sometimes you just kind of have to weigh the risk. Is it more risky to leave the pot to where it wasn't draining, or go ahead and repot it when it's not typical repot season. In this case, I decided to go ahead and repot it because I thought it was more risky to leave it to where the soil wasn't draining than go ahead and try to repot. And like I said, ficuses are pretty resilient, so as long as I keep the light on it, keep them warm enough, they should just be fine. I think everything feels pretty good. Still nestling in a little bit when I do that, so let's check it. All the way around. So there, I think we're finished with the repot. And just tap the sides of the pot too, just to help nestle the soil in. The tree's pretty tight in there, so I think we're good to go. Yep. So I think today that might be all we're going to do to it. I do have some wire on here. Taking a look at it, doesn't look like it's biting in really anywhere yet, so I don't think I have to remove this side. I've removed the wire in the past, but as you can see, I'm kind of flattening the branches out just so it kind of spreads out. And you can see somewhere where I didn't have wire on where the branches will grow straight up, and I'm trying to get them to where they're a little more horizontal. So I'm just wiring them down so they're flat. But I like the overall shape of the tree, even front to back. The back side's kind of full. Still needs to ramify and thicken up a little bit, but I like the overall shape and the taper it's got going on. So, all right, I think that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.